Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. Thank you for joining us on Morning Spring for today on Western Spring Television, channel 190 on Star Times DTT. Femi is my name, and it gives me a great pleasure to welcome you to today's program where we talk about everything that has to do with the workability and the functionality of the greater good of this great nation and good people called Nigeria. That's what we do here at this time. We look at the papers, the headlines, from our major dailies, and of course, we then get talking with everyone, that matters in the discuss of making this great nation work, and that person starts with you. Thank you for joining us once again. And of course, Eve is here. Miss Evelyn.
How are you doing, Femi? Good morning.
How do you do too?
Good morning, people. Thank you so much for joining us. We are grateful for your presence. Right. I mean, you're not here physically, but of course, we can be sure that you are there with us, watching us, and also getting the best of this program. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei, welcoming you especially on board to Morning Spring.
And as the band will say, welcome you specially.
Okay.
The program. Before we look at the headlines, this team, from the just concluded AMVCA is still there, and winners are still smarting from the success, of them winning in different categories. Overall winner, best movie, East Africa, West Africa, best, supporting actress and actor, and the rest of it. But, notable, for us here, this part of the country, in Osun State, is the best content creator of the year.
Yeah.
Lai Wasabi.
Wasabi.
Yeah, Wasabi, right?
Yeah.
And of course, I had to pick that out because he's one person that is very proud of his origin. When he was giving his acceptance speech, he spoke about his mom watching from Oshogbo. He didn't just say his mom will be watching. He said, I know my mom will be watching from Oshogbo. And here we are in Oshogbo to say, beyond your family, we from these parts of the country, the state of the Living Spring, are proud of what you are doing, and also everyone that won and the ones that were nominated that didn't win as well. Keep pushing. One day you will be recognized as well.
Yes, it was really a proud moment, especially when he walked up that stage to pick that award. That is his first ANVCA award, and it means a lot to him, and also
many persons
who actually loved his content, because Lai's content, he's a skit maker, by the way, but his contents are not like the normal general content that we usually see or hear. Most of the time you need to sit down and think. Sometimes when he gives a punchline, you're like, how did this guy sit down to actually
the play on
words and all of that. So and also he's a testament to the fact that it doesn't matter where you are, just ensure that what you're doing, you have passion for it and you're pushing through, because he started from the city of Oshogbo.
Right, and he doesn't hide.
Content,
that's why just call it.
So, and it's from Oshogbo now to the world, to Africa, to Nigeria, to the world. And, he's known everywhere now. Congratulations, a big congratulations to him. And also, this is to tell anyone out there who is still kind of, not sure about what they are doing, to just keep doing it. Small steps, but I used to put small, consistent steps, make huge impact. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Over time.
There
Once you are
will
convinced,
definitely, be light at the end of the tunnel.
Right. Very well. And of course, as we move to the papers, just 30 seconds, one category or one winner that really got me quite emotional is Chimezie Imo. He got
a
Trailblazer Award, and he was so teary. That's not even the catch for me. The catch is when he said yeah, that keep showing up to young actors. One day you'll be recognized. And then he said, after winning that award, he introduced himself again and said, my name is Chimise Imo, I'm an actor. Yeah. And of course, see you on set. Meaning the validation is complete right now. Keep pushing as well.
Keep pushing.
We go on this quick break. When we come back, the papers are in. You don't want to miss the juicy headlines that we have for you. It's the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back very shortly. All right, let me start with the Punch. The Punch newspaper. And it has, written in red, electricity tariff hike. Federal government convenes meeting as Labour threatens indefinite protest. With a rider, federal government to address Labour's complaints, protesters storm NERC, block Disco's offices in states. Okay, there's a protest about the Labour, organized Labour, to say the recent tariff hike, this is not the time at all. And of course, you can see the picture of what we just talked about a while ago of the winners, some of the winners, of the recently held AMVCA, the awards with the sponsors, the organizers, and the rest of them. Moving on, POS operators drag CAC to court. Why? Okay, that can be found on page 21. Governorship poll, INEC resumes voter registration in Edo and Ondo. Of course, those two states will be having their goodbye elections, later in the year. Is on page 8, and a sad one here, bottom strip. Delta mother, 16-year-old son found dead. 2 unconscious. That's a sad one there. Amotekun arrest 45 suspected criminals in Ondo. And federal government plans performance-based salary scheme for workers. Really? What does that entail? Federal government plans performance-based salary scheme for workers. You get to see, the nitty-gritty in the coming days. And federal government, this is the top strip now, federal government may need supplementary budget to pay minimum wage. Really? This is coming from the IMF. Okay. CBN may intervene as Naira slides to 1,478 Naira per dollar. What kind of intervention would that be? Fingers crossed. Atiku will initiate alliance talks ahead of 2027 polls. And you can see the picture of former Vice President the Waziri and Damawa there, Atiku Abubakar. And lastly, EFCC indict Sirika, brother, in new 19 billion Naira fraud. We'll wait to see how this pans out. That's all from the front page of the Punch.
All right, we head on to the Nation newspaper this morning. On the Nation newspaper, INEC plans new voter registration in Edo, Ondo. LP's Abure at meeting, and restructuring of NYSC for future challenges starts. I would like to know what this restructuring entails. Finidi, that's in the world of sports. Mount Saddle vows rejig of Super Eagles. NFF unveils head coach. A lot is on his shoulder at this time. A lot of people looking up to what he wants to bring to the table, the magic he wants to perform. By the way, nobody can perform magic. He can only do his own beat. And if Nigeria wants it, fine. If they do not want it, they let him go again. But fingers crossed as to that. Away from that, FEC adopt CNG-powered vehicles for ministries, agencies. Federal government targets less use of petrol to stem rising cost of living and boost economy. I saw that statement yesterday, Femi, where the president, he said the president at the FEC meeting has ordered a ban of petrol-powered vehicles for, the ministers and also, executives of government, especially those at the FEC meeting. And, reactions have chilled that Nigerians are speaking again.
Right.
and I'm like, Nigerians, most of the time we say the government or our leaders are reactionary.
Yeah.
But I think it stems from the fact that the people ourselves, we are reactionary.
How so?
We just speak to, we always want to react to whatever the government wants to say. We always want to, pick a point from what
reactions are always
I get
the result of actions.
Now I saw that statement, and on newspaper platform where I read that from yesterday, and I went to the comment section, and I'm seeing people saying, why do they want to ban petrol vehicles at this time? Why? It is not even.
You think the people shouldn't complain, right?
Because it is not even for the people now. It is for the leaders, the fake executives at this time. This is what they should actually. They want to lead by example.
Right.
So the president probably wants to test run it with his own people before saying, okay, let's introduce it
about his own
to others. Of course, he's part of FEC now, so definitely he's starting with himself.
The reason why many Nigerians will always second guess is because sometimes they look like just political statements.
Yeah.
And one will say, if they are really serious, they could have started it with those jeeps that was bought, that were bought rather by the National Assembly. That was quite a lot, Almost, I think it was the Joint National Assembly, not just the senators, I think. But then, okay, well, as you're saying, we can always start from somewhere.
We can always start from somewhere. But my own concern now is I'm pretty much sure that these executives, these ESCOs, probably got new vehicles recently. Sunday Karimi, Senator Sunday Karimi was saying the other time that you people always focus on us.
Yeah.
You do not even know what the executives are doing.
Don't know.
You don't know how much cars they've bought.
They don't even announce.
They don't even announce. So I'm pretty much sure that a lot of these executives might have bought new vehicles recently. Now, telling them to jettison those vehicles to take up new CNG buses.
Maybe the ones that will be bought.
These are new expenditure. So it is still the people that would fund.
And then will they be bought from indigenous companies? Or will still fund foreign companies as well?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, by the way.
All right, still on the Nation newspaper. Labour seeks reversal of electricity tariff increase. TUC, NLC, Picket, NERC, Discos, others. And this is one conversation that will not end anytime soon.
Right.
Because we also have to look at the ripple effects of this, tariff hike for let's say hospitals that provide essential services, and now the hospital is on band A, and they are paying how many percent, like 300% increase in electricity tariff. You sure know that it is the patient, the customers that will chest all of that expenses. So I think we also need to look at the ripple effect of how this will affect services for consumers and customers alike. Fubara to raise pro-panel on weakest government. Senator Wago, plan is witch hunt, diversionary. Governor inaugurates commissioner screened by 3 lawmakers. That state right now is what I would like to use Fuji House of Commission. It's not Rivers House of Commission, because a lot of things happening every day. Every day there is always something on Rivers State
happening. Yeah.
And okay, more on the Nation newspaper. Atiku, Obi, Saraki, Lamido begin 2027 coalition talks. XLP candidates visits opposition chiefs, and productivity-based wage coming for workers. The rider here, employees on same level may earn differently. Like Femi said the other time, our fingers are crossed as to what to expect from this productivity-based wage scheme or policy. That will be all from the Nation newspaper this morning.
All right, from the Nation newspaper, we move to the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune newspaper, Labour pickets NERC, discus offices nationwide over electricity tariff hike, demands complete reversal of past sector privatization. The Nigerian Tribune has that on its page 5, and 1 killed as gunmen invade community, burn cars, houses. And writer says invaders making demands from Okomu Oil Palm Management and want managerial position, 25% share. as well. That's page 27. And Nigeria's current design has expired. We must redesign our system to survive. Obasaki. And CNG, Tinubu ends purchase of petrol-powered vehicles by MDAs. 2027, Atiku will be meet over mega party. Nigerians to pay for multi-purpose ID card as NRN enrollment hits 107 million. Full barrel set to pro-wicked administration. And of course, that's all from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune for today.
All right, from the Nigerian Tribune, and on the Nigerian Tribune, I can see that photograph of number one, the picketing that happened at the NERC yesterday, and of course, what happened in Osun State yesterday.
Yeah, the chieftaincy.
Yeah, that was conferred on the governor yesterday, and
Shiwaju of Adeleke'S.
Yeah, that picture is being flanked by, his counterparts in other states, the Ohiolei of Osun State, if I'm to put it that way.
You have to say that.
And we have the Sanwo-Olu of Lagos, and of course the Seyi Makinde of Oyo State. GSM.
That's what you are calling appellations now.
Okay, let's move to Daily Trust. On Daily Trust newspaper this morning, terrorists kill 5 soldiers, many villagers in Katsina. Raises houses, military silent. And tariff hike, Labour insists on reversal. Pickets NERC discos offices. And Tinubu directs MDAs to buy CNG-powered vehicles. 3 killed as rival gangs clash in Kano. And from Kano State, on the Daily Trust newspaper, is another headline on Rivers State. Fubara hints at probing Wike's administration. And there is a talk of if there was not a situation, if there was not an altercation or, this drama and saga, would there be a probing of the Wike's administration, in which Fubara was a part of. Things are happening, like Femi would say, 10 is happening. Mega party talks resurface as Obi visits Atiku, Lamido, Saraki. FG plans productivity-based wage system for workers. It's like given, if you do not work, you will not be paid.
Yeah.
It is where you work, you chop. If you don't work, you cannot chop. All right, fingers crossed as to how this will play out and how this will work. Slain FIRS official planning marriage in December. That's his uncle speaking there. It's a sad one that, you've planned something ahead, a celebration ahead, and you're not even alive to witness it.
Right.
That will be all from Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
And of course, The Guardian is next. Quick one on The Guardian newspaper. Mistrust, greed, stall takeoff of new telephony licenses in 31 states. That's from The Guardian. Mistrust, greed, stall takeoff of new telephony licenses in 31 states. You have the picture there stating the statistics. MVNO licenses, 46 firms. Tier 5, 10 companies, 500 million naira each. Tier 4, 6 companies, 200 million naira each. Tier 3, 15 companies, 130 million each. Tier 2, 11 companies, and Tier 1, 1 company, 60 million naira and 35 million naira respectively. Committed to 8.6 billion naira for licenses, and the MNO partners are there, the major telcos. And on the South State are 31. Inactive telephony lines, 98 million. And LLC TUC picket NERC discos offices nationwide. Away from that, Obi meets Atiku, Saraki, others over Nigeria's woes. Really? Is it about Nigeria's woes, Evelyn? Or is it about realigning, for power? Whenever I see this kind of headlines, politicians are meeting over Nigeria's woes. Wow. That's patriotic.
Very.
Really.
Very.
Very right. Concerns as U.S. study visa refusers reach record levels in 2023. There's a lot of money there. Concerns as U.S. study visa refusers reach record levels. For every refusal, there is a non-refundable
Visa fee?
Visa fee. you know, and that's gone.
Yeah, that's
gone.
Not just even the visa fee, you have the service fee also paid to the, you know,
and
to
the stress,
the stress
of
and
traveling,
all of that.
of preparation.
You know, there are a lot of people that have tried once, they still went back.
Yeah.
Said, you know, I must go. I'm not giving up.
Dollars
you know,
leaving their pocket.
We spoke about not giving up earlier this morning. You being consistent and persistent.
You have to be persistent, but sometimes be strategic as well. Reappraise if you have to. You know, concerns as U.S. study visa refusals reach record levels. It speaks to, the push for it, the growing push for people to just leave the shores of this land. You know, it is Panorama page 2 has that stock investors lose 3.8 trillion naira in less than 2 months. Fubara vows to probe Wike, others panel of inquiry. 2027 opposition party leaders to meet over mega party. Okay, this is more like it. 265 local vessels are registered abroad as Nigeria lacks in registry digitalization. Why is that? You must put that act together, because if any vessel is registered here, definitely there will be responsibilities, you know, from that vessel to the registrar in terms of, money. And this speaks to our revenue generation improvement as well. So why are there bottlenecks in digitalization of registration? Does that mean we are still in analog era as far as the maritime operation is concerned in Nigeria? And that's a cash cow, potential cash cow, if actually we do that. We hope the Ministry of Blue Economy, Marine and Blue Economy, we see to these as well. But as we round it off from this point, Evelyn, this situation in Rivers, Fubara vowing to probe Wike, and others panel of inquiry, we're hearing some persons are saying is witch hunt. Witch hunt how? But then, is it not witch hunt? Just like you asked just a few minutes ago, would there have been panel of inquiry if the sale has been smooth, ab initio, and then we learned some commissioners were screened by 3 lawmakers, for God's sake.
I mean,
is that House of Assembly?
The legislature in Rivers State is becoming a joke.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that everyone is catching cruise with the situation in Rivers State is alarming. This is governance. This is government. You know, it's no joke. I think we are taking this issue with kid gloves. We really do not read meaning to it, probably because we are not in Rivers State, or we believe, oh, those politicians are back again with their thing.
Even those that are there.
Let them do their thing.
It doesn't look like they are bothered.
This doesn't look like a school setting, an SUG thing and all of it. Even in an SUG thing, you will realize that once something like this is happening, it's as if you want to set the school on fire. How can you say that we have 3-member legislature in Rivers State?
And they are the Rivers State House of a 3-man Rivers State House of Assembly.
We have 30 or 31, local governments there in Rivers State, and they have different legislatures.
And even out of the 3, 1 is still the speaker.
One is still
presiding
the speaker.
over 2.
One is still the speaker. So it's really funny how these things are unfolding.
By the way.
And I think people, elder statesmen, stakeholders in Rivers State, politicians, should wade into this issue.
The so-called elder statesmen, especially the politically inclined, they have shown where they belong already. Most of them have shown where they belong. So who should mediate?
I really fear
the presidency tried to mediate the other time, but it was a political solution, and clearly it's not working. And we have separation of powers. Tinubu cannot come and tell them what to do in Rivers State. This
speaks to the fact that we do not have a working system in Nigeria.
Obviously.
Because if we do have a working system, you already know that once you take this step, this is what we're after. Once you add this and this together, you're going to get this. So nobody is coming to say, oh, let's come and interpret the law. We have to go to court for everything, for the court to interpret the law.
Like we don't know what we are doing.
Exactly.
Like there are no guidelines.
So I really fear for Rivers State, and I also fear for the fact that this issue in Rivers State can actually snowball into other states or other issues in other states. And I think the president should rein in his minister, the minister of the FCT, Wike. he has a boss, which is Mr. President. His
Right.
concern now should be in Abuja,
Right.
not in Rivers State. I know
Right.
he's talking about his structure and all of that, and a lot of people that are saying we are the structure, and right
And
now.
Ajuri Ngelale has said the president doesn't have an interest. He would rather stand and seize the state's function. But the institutions of the state in that particular state now is crumbling.
Exactly.
And we are all seeing what is happening. But then we'll look into these and more if time permits us in the course of the program. But then we want to start and stay home today. We'll go on this quick break. When we'll come back, we'll be speaking to governors in Osun State. And if time permits, beyond the shores of Osun State as well. It's the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go nowhere. All right, you're welcome back. And the conversation this morning is about governance, well-being of the people of the state of the living spring, Osun State. The workings of the government, the policy, the politics sometimes of people in government plays a very significant role in how the people will be well taken care of in different sectors of the endeavors of the people of the state. Talk about agriculture, talk about education, talk about the economy, talk about infrastructure, critical aspect, health as well, industrialization, manufacturing. These are some of the critical areas of every and any human endeavor, globally, nationally, and of course subnationally. But we'll be sticking with Osun State here, and like I said earlier, if time permits, we'll look at other states as well and what is going on. We're joined virtually this morning by Dr. Ademola Bayonle. He was a candidate for the YPP, at the last gubernatorial election in Osun State, and he has been one that has been very interested in the workings of the government, of the day and how this is impacting the good people, of Osun State. Good morning, Dr. Bayonle.
Good morning, Western Spring. Good morning, Mr. Femi. Thank you for having me on your program again.
Thank you very much. We had you not quite long, and then, we promised to have you back because of time at the other day. Now we have the time and we have the platform. And let me start from here. Governor Ademola Adeleke is the governor of the state right now, at least for the next 2.5 years or thereabouts. And how will you assess, governance, not the personality, the governance so far since you took the reins of, leadership in this state from November 27, 2022?
Thank you so much for that great question. And I like the fact that you highlighted not the person, but governance, because I think we should note that the office of a governance is a continuum. The office of the governor is a continuum. People occupy it, we respect that office, and when they leave, the office remains. And we are judging the governor presently based on him occupying that seat, not who he is. We can even be friends or we can be whatever. It's an elderly man. You can be whatever at the end of the day. But him sitting on that seat is presently the governor, and that is what we are x-raying at this point. And if I, back to your question,
Right.
You see, Mr. Femi, governance is about superiority of ideas. If you are offered 100 naira and you say with this 100 naira, what I can buy is a bicycle. And I said with my 100 naira, what I can buy, I can really buy a car. So it's about, it doesn't mean that the bicycle you're buying is not good. It's probably what the most you can do or the best you can do. And moving on that trajectory to talk about assessing his performance, I will definitely tell you it's subpar. It's really not commensurate. It's not as much as what the people of Osun thinks that they will get. And even personally, with people who are non-partisan, who have spoken with, sincerely, I feel that a lot of people are disappointed, especially with the enormous resources available to Osun in the past 2 years. We feel that we should have moved past some very pediatric, very rudimentary type of development. We should be moving progressively along futuristic endeavors. But if we're here still talking about just the same old things again, I feel that we're not really progressing that much. Let me give you an example. For instance,
Yeah.
when I was campaigning, I talked about the proportion of out of school children, and students to teacher ratios in the school really alarming. And I sat down with my team and said, okay, we might not be able to employ teachers to match up that. What can we do to supplement even the employment of teachers? Because at the end of the day, students should be able to graduate with good degrees. It's not about the school, it's about what they take out of the school, the quality of education. And that can only be impacted by teachers. And we said, like how it is done around the world, maybe we should start employing graduate students. We have the institution in Osun State University, who admits postgraduate students. Why not bring in graduate students as T8s, teaching assistants? It's done all everywhere around the world. I thought when I was in grad school, I taught students, even graduate students, not to talk of secondary school to student. So why not bring in students to supplement teachers? Because at that time, we were even looking at the budget of Osun, which was not a lot. I mean, the last year, the previous year, it was about 138 billion or thereabout. How can we help the education sector without really with the minimal resources we have? And it has to be acute because students are graduating year in, year out. So we cannot wait for IGR to spike, or we cannot wait for some type of investment. Every year count and every student count. Can we increase our admission in the postgraduate sector of the school and give them some 1 or 2 years curriculum training and give them tuition, subsidize their tuition so that they can help our secondary schools? And a lot of people said, yes, that was a welcome idea. So if the governor says, oh, I'm only just going to recruit teachers, which definitely cannot be enough, because I know that there are other supplementary ways to improve education in that sector, I would not rate him high. And that is what I think government, and opposition ideologies should be about. Not so. I will say that maybe he's doing 2/10 because at least there's some traction a little bit. But from my own standpoint, I believe Osun State and the people of the state should be getting way more than what they're getting right now.
All right. Yeah. One of ways to judge performance, by the way, is to look at the actions, antecedents, very importantly, the promise or promises made by an individual. So let's look at what Governor Adeleke, while he was campaigning, promised the people of the state. Chief among these is the welfare of the people, welfare of the workers. He made some categorical promises, by the way, but let me state it here, that some of these things, normal climbs, they are not supposed to be something that we will say it's something that people should look forward to. And it's not just only in Osun. The payment of worker salary, prompt payment of worker salary, he said that, payment of backlogs of arrears owed by previous government that was going to see to that and pay up as well. He talked about agriculture as well. He talked about education and, of course, making Osun ICT hub, And now, more than a year or close to 2 years of his administration, let me ask you, which of these do you think he has made good of? Talking about the promises, the salary payment, the payment of backlog, you as a person who is following, the workings of the government, some of these promises, how good will you say he has made of those promises?
So, like you've also premised, you see, at this juncture, we should not really be talking about salary payment.
Well, it's
And
part of his
what's so
promise. Yeah.
yes, looking at the previous governor, he paid, I don't think he was owing any staff even salary to be seen to be what's it called candid. He actually paid the salaries. What maybe Governor Adeleke might be talking about was the administration of Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, who had backlogs of half salaries to be paid, and maybe he brought that forward. But even at that, he's probably paid like 4 or 5 of that, and I don't think that's something extremely significant. And for me, that payment was even very dubious because you cannot be paying salaries at the eve of election, and you making me think that you actually have the interest of
Dubious.
people at
How?
heart.
Dubious.
I
How?
mean, look at the initial trenches of the payments. The payments were done just before like the federal government election and the House of Assembly election. It was just always before, like 2 3 days before elections. And look at how that
I'm not sure that's absolutely true because he has paid some after that as well.
he has paid some after. I agree, but
Yeah.
look at the proportions. How many has he paid altogether now? This is 2 years, almost 2 years into the administration. So the proximity of the first couple of ones that he paid very close. And you see, that's one of the reasons I blame, I always blame the former governor, because I can imagine the former governor leaving about 14 billion in the accounts, not paying the previous administration's
I'd like you to
salary.
put a name. You know, we have many former governors, by the way.
Okay, so I mean, we all know, and I've seen from the budget performance, we had about 14 billion in the accounts. In fact, we have about 8.1 billion moving into 2023, which I know the administration of Ademola Adeleke did not in any way earn. So I was wondering that why didn't Governor Oyetola actually pay those salaries if we had money in our accounts? But that's by the way. Well, if he had paid like 4 trenches or 5 of the half salaries, good. I think as at now, with the money we have coming from federal government, with the spiking inflations, with whatever is going on right now, I think we should be doing better. So if he's paying salary regularly, I won't say thank you to that. I mean, people go to work every day. You should actually pay them what they are worth and the worth of their job. So good is paying the salaries, which is great. It is not new. It is not beyond. You do not need any human being, as far as I'm concerned, to pay salaries. AI these days can compute it for the next 50 years without human input. So I don't know why something that can be even done electronically or whatever is you're pressing humans for such things. So well, he's paid that, so that's one of it. The second one, I think I would have said, oh, thank you for is the fiber optic he was actually laying. Look at what we're doing today with the help of internet. I could be anywhere and talk to you. There's so many, he promised digital economy. You can't do all that without the internet. The internet is the opium of this century. So I mean, we are hearing tractions that they are laying the what's it called, the fibers. I'm hoping before the end of this year, because it is just I do not know how a young man can survive this generation without a stable internet supply. A lot of people, for instance, in Lagos, in Ibadan, and other places, young people work for companies abroad, Netherlands, China, and everything. And what they rely on is some of these internet facilities. You can also build a digital economy clearly without the help of the internet. So I'm hoping that it will make that promise will quickly come into fruition, not as usual. So that's maybe some of the things he has done, but promises is bringing to bear. But as far as I'm concerned, that's probably it.
How about health? You know, health. The governor went
Let me
on
quickly jump in there
for
because
like
that's
2 3 months. It was a medical outreach in different corners, nooks and crannies of the state. You know, with the Ilera Imole. You know, medical outreach, seeing to surgeries, giving people drugs, and seeing to the medical emergencies of people in those areas. For you, that's a good one, isn't it?
for me, that's a slap. And sincerely, you see, this type of things are just what I will not believe in this century a governor can be doing health outreach in the first year of administration. It's more of a campaign activity. In fact, it's more of an NGO activity. I have done health outreaches. I've participated in health outreaches in a lot of states in Nigeria. It is not sustainable. You see, we have to build infrastructures. And infrastructure does not only include the buildings, the human beings, and the equipment in our hospitals. Our healthcare issues are not one-time problems. They are continual. Patients need to be able to go back to a place for follow-up. So for a governor actually doing periodic outreach, believe me, that was the first sign for me that this government is actually not sure about what they are supposed to do. It is a slap on the people of Osun State's face that in the first year of any administration, you are doing an health outreach. Like, that does not just make any sense in any shape or form. We should be equipping our primary health centers. We have about 323 primary health centers. We have almost about 30 or something community health centers, comprehensive health centers. We have our teaching hospitals, and those things are there for a reason. And we are not also looking for rehabilitations of primary health centers or comprehensive health centers. We are looking for equipping, making sure patients can come in and go back to their houses as healthy human beings.
All right.
There is no shape or form where health outreach is the best form of health administration in any way. Think about it. People who have emergencies, do they have to wait for health outreach program before they get treated? That is just ludicrous for even an administration that maybe you're doing it in your third or fourth year. I will say yes, you want to cover some grounds that you probably did not cover using the infrastructure you have built. But tough decisions need to be made in the first year of any administration. Very tough decisions.
All right.
And those tough decisions include making sure everybody identify the primary health center in any of their areas as the place to go for healthcare. Making sure the primary health center can adequately transfer patients or refer patients to the comprehensive health centers or the teaching hospitals as appropriate, making sure that first responders can be at the site or at the area where they are needed on time.
Okay.
Conversations we should be having is that initially responders can take 10 minutes, but now I'm coming into government, I've found a very cool way that it can take 5 minutes to get there. That is improving health. You have to think about access to health first. How many people even have access to health? They are doing something, and I actually give it to Executive Secretary of the NHIS, who's trying to expand that the bandwidth of including people into health care. Maybe because he's a doctor and he understands that. I mean, I can't understand having a lawyer as a commissioner of health. It's just a slap on all of us, all indigenes of Osun, because I don't even he definitely doesn't understand one thing about healthcare, and that is the man you're putting at the helms of affairs of health in administration. In fact, and the governor had the audacity to say, "I'm going to Thailand to do." I went to Thailand to do checkup. You see, this type of things can only happen in Osun State and in our climes. If it happens other places, you will be resigning the next day.
Okay, all right, Dr. Bayonle. Now, I'd like to speak on the choice of, or the governor's cabinet. I'd like your take on, the choice of people the governor has picked to work with him. A lot of people had some issues with it, while some people feel, it was a very good fit for the people the governor actually picked. I have another question on the education sector, but I'd just like your take on, the different commissioners that the governor put in the different ministries and their work so far, because it doesn't take one man. We have just been focusing on the governor, but we know that he has people that he works with. So it doesn't take one man just to be a government. He works with other people. So I'd like your own review of the choice of commissioners and their work so far.
I had a very similar question at the inception of this government. Firstly, talking about the size of government, and I told the person asking me the question, I said, you see, I usually do not like to talk about probably size of government, because when you send somebody a message, you want that person to deliver. However he delivers it, I do not actually want to care that much or focus on it. If that person is delivering the message, I am focusing on I want to focus on the deliverables. If you tell me the Commissioner for Education is anybody, for instance, let's leave it at anybody, because for Commissioner for Education should definitely have some form of antecedents in the educational sector, either way, to understand the workings of the primary schools, the secondary schools, superb, UBEBs, and the rest of it, so that it can really fit into it. But let's assume you actually bring anybody on board. You see, what I want to focus on, which is about the people of Osun, is that how many people are graduating with better educational degrees or educational results. Let's leave it at results. That is what I want to focus on. So who is actually pushing? Can we find somebody that can drive? The end product is the results students are taking out of schools. So I really want those metrics. For instance, in 2022, we had one of the worst results in Nigeria. So is this person coming in driving a change? We're not focusing on the messenger right now. Is this person driving a change that's going to lead to a better outcome? And I don't see that so far. For instance, like I said, I'm in the health sector and I understand the health sector very well. We have a language, as far as I'm concerned. There are things that I will say you will not understand because of the peculiarity of our languages. In law, also the CJN of the state needs to understand the workings of the law. It's not just anybody that can fit into those shoes. Even education and some other sectors, agriculture, I cannot be you can't make me commissioner for agriculture. I mean, I'm just going to be kicking the hair and doing everything that they bring to me. Yeah. So I believe people should have a skill set. They should be technocrats and have capabilities in those settings. But I have seen, sincerely, I've x-rayed. I think this is a reward kind of system. Our commissioner, the appointees are a reward kind of system. You see lawyers becoming commissioner for communications, and doctors becoming this, and lawyers becoming commissioner for health, and just mixing everything up. So let us look at the matrices and see what they have done. I do not think anything has improved as far as I'm concerned. I think that they are, at best, I don't even think they're even as it's where. I think they're really just retrogressing, because there can't be a vacuum. So things are really just going back. The result of quality. I have a friend, and I think I said this the last interview. I have a friend who admitted, who wanted to employ people, and he said these people they don't even understand the meaning of virtual. And I'm wondering, what's the education in Osun about? It's really watered down. So, I mean, the deliverables of these commissioners, if you maybe you have a few you want to mention to me, I'm not seeing anything there.
All right. You just mentioned that you do not want to focus on the messenger, but on the message. That means you do not have any issue, because I know some of your colleagues, especially in the health sector, raised her eyebrow when a lawyer was put in charge of the health ministry in Osun. But it seems you do not have an issue with that, because according to you...
Let me say that I do. I'm just managing my expectations. Like I said, you see, you cannot put at this point in our show, you just have to manage my expectations and say, you know what, maybe there's some miracle you want to pull out from here. And I said it, I was very vocal about it at the beginning, that it is not possible, it does not make any sense for a barrister to be our commissioner for health. And it's not about him, I don't even know him. It's just that I understand the needs of this sector. We do not have a database in Osun State that actually helps us understand the spread of diseases. You cannot tell me what kills, let me use that word, what kills people in Ela today. You can't say what happens in Aida more than what happens in Ejigo. They do not know that. And I can tell you for free, because I've interacted with that sector. So when they have something to do, they just give the whole communities. It is a waste of resources. A lawyer cannot never understand that. It is just not possible. But you see, maybe we should give him a benefit of doubt and say, okay, let us see. And you will see, there's no news that comes out of Osun State in terms of health today that is not done by the executive secretary of the Osun State Health Insurance Scheme. He is a doctor there. Do you know what the administration said when people started raising dust about the barrister leading the health sector? They said, oh, it is administrative. Go and hear Barrister Kolako Alimi. That's what he said. That is an administrative duty. That commissioner position is administrative duty. That in fact, it is not good to put a professional in that space because the people there will be kicking against him. That he's part of them. So why is he trying to like sabotage their efforts? Because he understands them. I almost fainted when I heard that. That's why is an administration thinking like this? But if we say yes, maybe we should give them a benefit of doubt. Let us see what their work product is about.
All right.
If their work product, because I mean, we understand that it's really not going to lead us anywhere. And it is, like I said, it's almost now like the backhand slap again that the governor, after doing that, will now race to Thailand for his own health care. It does not make any sense. Why do you leave us in the hands of a lawyer, but you can go to Thailand? Let's judge it.
Okay, so for you, the health ministry hasn't really improved. The health sector, rather, hasn't really improved.
It is still the same as the former previous administration, the administration of Ohiolei. It's literally still the same. 2 days ago, somebody was tagging me on Twitter that they have renovated a primary health center in my community in Bogo, and I just laughed. I said, well, nobody wants to die in a renovated health center. That's number one. Number two is that the administration of Ohiolei also renovated primary health center that I saw myself. I went to some of those primary health centers. That was a time of campaign. So you cannot tell me, in fact, his name is boldly reaching there, though I know the money was from World Bank, but it was during his administration. If you're coming back again and you're saying you're still renovating, when are we going to leave the renovating pipeline?
All right,
when are we actually going to talk about the quality of healthcare delivery?
Okay.
When are we going to say that we are reducing maternal mortality in Osun? When are we going to say that we are reducing malnourished infants on the 5 mortality? When are we going to start talking about those matrices? Not renovated.
All right, Dr. Bayonle, because this is your own forte, so I'd like to dwell more on health. It seems for this administration we have more people who are informed about health insurance. We have, especially recently, the governor enrolled some thousands, about 23,000 pensioners in the health insurance scheme. Right. And of course, I've been talking to people too. It seems people are more informed about health insurance. People that would naturally not want to, go into any health insurance scheme are taking it serious because they are now seeing the benefits. Would you not give this government, kudos for that, for doing that? More awareness to people.
I have said that, and I said I actually give the executive secretary a kudos, because I've even seen him going as far as going to the House of Assembly to tell the House of Assembly members to recruit members from their communities into the insurance net. I'm aware that before he took office, there are about 150,000 people that are in the insurance scheme. I do not know the figures right now. Maybe at some point he's going to be able to tell us more about those figures and how many they've been able to capture. But we have to capture it in a very sustainable way. Don't let us forget that. You see, when you're capturing people into the health insurance scheme, understand, for instance, the pensioners. There was a time the pensioners was captured into that net. And I said, I hope that Osun State, we have the financial capability to continue to manage that. Because everybody, we're going to continue to pull people into that pension net every year. People are going to be retiring. Yeah. So I hope we have the money to be able, because it's more of 50-50. The pensioners pay part of it, the government pay part of it. And also, there are a lot of people in the private sector. There are a lot of people in the informal sector. I hope that we can capture all that, organize those sectors and bring them in. So I hope that we are not just banking on the resources we have today, because that pool is going to get big. And what they did was, it sounds to me like a one-time thing also. Yeah. They were like, oh, we have recruited this number of people into the health insurance scheme, a number of pensioners. And I was like, okay, is this going to be continuous? I hope it's not going to be a one-time thing, because we are going to be bringing people into that net every day. So as a leader, managing people's resources. We should not be doing anything for showmanship. We should be thinking about 10 years ahead and saying, what I'm doing presently, I hope that in the next by 2030, it's still going to be sustainable. We have enough cash in the what's it called, in the state to be able to sustain those endeavors. So yes, I give it what's it called, the sensitization of the health insurance scheme. I give it to the executive secretary, and like I said, look at the 98% of the news coming out from of the health insurance or the health sector in Osun. That's the man pulling it. So I'm like, why is he not even the commissioner ab initio?
All right.
All right. Just before Femi comes on in, let's move to education. The Ministry for Education, headed by the Honorable Commissioner Ohiolei Adedeke'S. Recently, some months ago, the government extended the length of service for teachers from 35 to 40 years, and also retirement age from 60 to 65. Do you think this is a welcome development? Of course, when that news came in, there are people that actually kicked against it, but a lot of people kind of gave kudos to the government for doing that. I'd like to get your stance on that.
For me, whatever they do must end at the level of our students get quality education. If they like, they can increase the working age from 40 to 85. That is actually none of my problem or my business. They must be able to ensure that students coming in, out, and out of our educational system are well educated. That's number one. Number two, they have jobs. The essence of education is not to just go to school and end there. Yeah. The essence of education is to be able to be employable. You must be able to have skill set that makes you employable outside or useful to yourself. So whatever they are doing in and out of that politicking and increasing age to please people, do you understand, must translate to help students in Osun State to be able to be competitive locally, nationally, and globally, and also be useful to themselves and to the community. So I want to be able to see more of Osun State people transitioning from primary school to secondary school, not falling out because of either financial or they are not well educated enough. I want to be able to see less people out of school. I want to be able to see people passing WAEC and JAM. Right now, we just have about 50% pass rate. So out of every 10, 5 is failing. That is an extra year lost.
Would you put that, at the table or on the table of Mr. Governor? There is also the issue of the students do not want to learn. A lot of them just feel education, like they say education has come. And we see
why will they want to learn? Why will they want to learn? Because what is the reward? Like I said, that is why the focus should not be on the number of teachers we have employed or the number of increase in the service years. It should be about the quality, the use of that education. A lot of our medical school students have started selling bags. Medical students. In Osun State University, even though they've been recruiting since 2015 or wherever, we still do not have, we have still not had the what's it called for the medical school? I forgot the word now. We cannot still graduate medical students. So what are we talking about? We have a lot of people doing physiology, biochemistry, zoology that end up selling bags. So when I see you go to school and you end up the same way you came in, doing the same way thing that did not go to school, I'm doing, why am I not going to put it to your face that it's a scam? And that was a bone of contention. One of the last time you saw myself and Mr. Lasso Yusuf, that was what he was talking about. He said the youth of today, they are probably not interested in learning and working and etc. again. I said, why won't they be? Look at what you're putting in their face. You're putting riches and money and resources and wealth and everything in their face. Let us put work. Let us put work in between that. Let people know that you have to work first before you get those riches. A lot of people in our communities right now, especially politicians, drive around big vehicles, 160 million, 100 million. And when you look at their antecedents, nothing is because one godfather can actually put them in power. A lot of them, we have said, a lot of people have even said, a lot of people do a lot of internet scams and everything, and that's how they got to power. So we have really watered down education in the states.
All right.
So that is why we're saying that the focus should not only end at the number of teachers we've recruited, the focus should not end about number of years of teachers we've extended. We should be training our teachers enough to be able to impact adequate knowledge, which can help the students either for themselves, people who do not want to move to the next level of maybe university or whatever, and help people who actually want to move on with their educational career. So that is what I want to be looking at, and it is easy to measure. What is Osun State doing in terms of WAEC? How is Osun State doing in terms of JAMB? Can we ask employers of students that graduated from Osun State University today, how is their performance? How many people are graduating from Osun State University are getting job in the first 6 months of their graduation? Those are matrices people talk about.
All right.
And we used to rank schools and say, if you come to our school in the first 6 months, because we know this is a great university, you're going to get jobs. That's what we should be talking about.
Okay. Lastly, from my end for now, the issue of gender inclusion in the cabinet of Mr. Governor. A lot of people were disappointed when we saw, few women. I think we have just 2 commissioners who are females in this cabinet, and for the legislative arm, no woman is in the House of Assembly, for this administration, and a lot of people were disappointed because this is a government that said they want to improve or promote gender inclusion in politics and in governance, but coming into office right now, we are seeing fewer women at the helms of affairs in the different ministries. What is your take on that?
I have those to them. When I ran, my deputy was a woman, and people were asking me why she older, why this and that. And I said, you see, a woman brings in some peculiarities to governance. And some of those include the peculiarities of agenda, child, reproductive health, and some other stuff. So, in fact, we should not be talking about equity when it comes to them. They should be naturally integrate into governance. But that being said, I think women also need to throw their hat in the game. You see, the game of power is not one that is given. You have to show interest. And I'm speaking directly, especially to our technocrat community. A lot of our technocrat community are usually too busy. They are so fixated in what they are doing, they don't want to participate in politics. So women that have something to offer need to start. Politics is a lot of work. A lot of people are mobilizing, they are doing this, they are doing that. And nobody will just come and look for you and say, because you're a woman, you should hold an office. They want to make sure that you have the capability. We can see a lot of women outside the country speaking up, doing so many things. I would like to see a lot of women also show face like that. I'm talking like this. I've spent my time, my money, my resources in Osun State trying to be governor. Then that means there's a possibility I can be governor one day. Nobody's going to come take me from wherever I am and say, oh, you deserve to be governor. So as much as we should in among our political appointees to include women, because they bring in so much value into that space. In terms of political participation, I think that women should not only end at just pulling rallies and what have you. I think that they need to actively participate, especially the technocrat community. So that's what I will say about that. Definitely the numbers are there, and that's what I always talk about. That look, it is evidential. What you're telling me, you're literally quoting figures. So the administration cannot come tomorrow and say that, oh, it is a lie. No, you'll just have 2 commissioners, and one of them is probably from your family either way. So what are you talking about? It's not. Nobody's making up any numbers here. But yes, I believe that this administration should have done better to literally include women in among the commissioners, among the special advisors, and not look. Somebody was telling me something last week about that this administration is actually looking for people only in their parties, which is very laughable. I'll probably post one of those videos one day. In fact, he was trying to be the head of something that, I mean, could have just really passed on to him without any competition and everything. But they said because he's not a member of the PDP, that is why it's not going to be put in there. You see, again, look at such mentality. Look at such mentality. You're forming a cabinet. Look at, I hate comparing Oyo State every time. People who ran for office, nobody, you will even barely see any of the contenders, big contenders or low contenders or medium scale contenders in this administration. It's winner took everything, and we're seeing the result of what it took. So yes, our women should be given opportunity as far as I'm concerned, especially in the appointee side of things. But please, I also want to enjoin our women to also participate. They really are not going to bring this power into their homes.
All right, thank you, Femi.
All right, Dr. Bayonle, a quick one. A couple of questions for you. Let me just do, a follow-up on the teachers, process of imparting knowledge. And for you, it's not just whatever they have to do, the numbers of years they spend in service, according to you, doesn't matter. Let them do the work and let the students be employable, let them have the skill set, let them be very knowledgeable, to do well in life. That's what matters for you. But one will say that process of having employable students, employable products, graduates, comes from the quality of knowledge available to them, and that will be impacted by the teachers and the numbers of them as well. So maybe to cater for that, in February, the state government, under the leadership of Governor Ademola Bayonle, ratified the decision to recruit 5,000 teachers into the state, Ministry of Education and the civil service as well. And the process is on. They have done the recruitment exercise, and many of those who wrote the examination are waiting for a result. Doesn't this count for something for state government to recruit 5,000 teachers, into the service as at this time?
Absolutely. It definitely counts for something. And I think that is a very good effort to do. But I understand the need of that sector.
Yeah.
I have interacted with people in that sector before, the leadership of that sector. I've gone to a lot of schools. I firsthand understand the pains of their schools with 3 teachers, including their principals in those schools. So yes, we need personnel in those schools. Right. And in fact, 5,000 is not going to be enough. But like I said, the first thing I thought about, given the resources of that state at that time, is that how can we actually expand this? First, to make sure that we have teachers and quality teachers at that. And that's why I was thinking about the teaching assistant thing, the graduate assistant things. And let us expand the graduate school so that we can have people from that pool who are already in the academic space already. Right. And they can be able to impact knowledge in our secondary schools, in our primary schools, just by saying that, okay, if the fees is 200,000, since it's our institution, it's not money making as far as we're concerned, we will pay like 120,000, just help us teach our students in the meantime, which all institutions around the world do either way. So yes, that definitely counts for something, but we will be patiently looking at the deliverables of that process.
All right.
Because it's not going to end only in that process. Yeah. We have to understand what goes after that. Yeah.
Right. Let's talk about infrastructure in Osun State. The governor, while coming, that was part of the promise as well. I'm talking about Governor Adeleke'S. And since he came in, the state government and the handlers have prided themselves to say we have done, some numbers of kilometers in almost every part, of the state, albeit maybe just few. But then there is this mega, 100 billion naira mega infrastructural plan, that the state government has embarked on. and it's visible. They have started work in most parts. Shogbo here, you could see their hands everywhere. The Ademola was held in Elisha like 2 weeks ago. The governor flagged off, the construction of road from Biris to Imo to roundabout side. And just like a week later, last week or thereabout, it was in Ile-Ife to flag off another construction, and especially that of a flyover. And you, on your social media, you frowned at that particular one, and you said it's going to cost 13 billion. That is what the state government said, by the way, that it's going to cost 13 billion. And you are saying the total sum of what the state generates is just, not too far from that. Where will the state government get the fund to do that? And why will they spend such an amount, each chunk of the percentage of the government revenue, trying to do that? Many Nigerians, many Osun persons will say, why criticize everything? We must just do something at some point, albeit inconvenient.
We cannot afford to build a bridge that is about half of our IGR. The IGR of Osun is hovers around 25 billion. How can we build one single bridge for 13 billion? What sense does that make? And people are actually going to blame the Tinubu administration for so many things. They're going to say the inflation, the whatever. But this is the same administration
Dr. Bayonle, so that we clarify this, where did you get that figure from? That is 25 billion, monthly or annually?
Annually.
25 billion.
It rose. Yes. Wait. So let me give you, because yes, I've been following the budget of the states from day one.
I'd like to know that actually you are very certain of that particular figure.
So I said it hovers. The last figure we had, the administration of Ohiolei actually moved it for about 14.1 billion to about 19.3 billion. And that was because of the overhauling of the generation sector. They passed some laws to make sure we have a focused way of collecting that. And so that was the last figure we had. It actually stood about 19.3 billion we had. Since this administration came in, I've checked budget and some statistical, we've been able to move to about 25 thereabout billion. And again, they might come in and say they are increasing the IGR. I'm waiting for them to do that. They are really not doing anything sensible.
I asked to put that because I know since the removal of subsidy and the increase from the FAC allocation from the federal government, it seems all of the states have great improvement on the allocation. That's why I had to say,
absolutely.
Are you certain about that 25 billion? But go ahead with the Ile-Ife overhead bridge.
Yes. So if we're going from 19 billion, which will be about 19.3 billion at the head of the Ohiolei administration, imagine we're even spending 13 billion on a bridge. That even makes the picture looks more terrible as far as I'm concerned. That is the money we generate in a whole year. Our average per month is about 2 billion or thereabout. So if 2 billion times 12, about 24 billion. So that's some statistics that I saw recently. That's what is putting us about 25 billion per year. So imagine we're spending half of that on a bridge that is needless, because the point is that if you go to Ife, I was still there a couple of days back, there's really no traffic in that area. In fact, there's a lot of road that needs to be fixed. All the bank road that leads to the palace, where there's gas stations and some banks and everything, they're still all messed up. Why are we flagging a bridge? And you know what?
Dr. Bayonle, sorry, you wanted to be governor, and you have said maybe the plan might still come up, and I'm saying this knowing fully well that you saying this, that the overhead bridge is needless in Ile-Ife. The Royal Majesty about Jaja II, Adeleke'S Ogunwusi, was there as well when that flagger was done, and we Ile-Ife people be happy with you that you are saying this, that this is not needed. You might get to that place again to canvass for vote, and you are telling them what the king, the Royal Majesty, was part of, the flag of. You are saying is needless.
So the Royal Majesty has done something really great to be there, because you see, you have to honor the governor. it is not the person entirely, it's just the office.
Yeah.
So you have to always give honor to whom honor is due. If there's a project going on, and that's why I always laugh when there are people, when the governor is somewhere and you see a lot of crowd and you're like, oh, he has a lot of followers. It does not make any sense. When the governor is somewhere, you will naturally bound to have a lot of people around him. So for Oni of Ife, highly respected ruler of the Yoruba race, to be there, that is definitely him respecting his office, the office of the governor. And like I told you, when you said, why did I go to see Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, like, he was a former governor. Those kind of offices, you just have to respect those kind of personalities, and you have to separate your emotions from who they are. Do you understand? Whatever they do in office does not preclude the fact that you still have to still respect them. So that is one thing. But the importance of that bridge, it is where you probably should leave myself and people from Ile-Ife. And I would have told them that this is what I would have done with 13 billion if I was giving that money in your area. I would have made a mecca out of Ife that is going to increase the IGR and the earning capacity of you people.
Dr. Bayonle, you are saying as of this, you are saying as of this morning, overhead bridge today, May 14th, there about 2024, an overhead bridge in Ile-Ife is needless.
Absolutely. I think we need to start from first principles. And Mr. Femi, let me tell you how things should be done.
Yes.
One, let us fix the potholes. Let us widen our roads. Let us mark the roads. Let us fix traffic lights. All those things. And okay, if these things are still happening, maybe we need to create diversions, not even necessarily an overhead bridge. Can we create more access roads that can help? The point is reducing traffic in Ile-Ife. Do you understand? Congestions in Ile-Ife. So if that is the point, there are other ways to do that will not cost us as much as 13 billion, and we will be able to build on in the future. I will have loved and so much praise Governor Adeleke to high heavens if he has used that 13 billion to create a huge tourism around Ife people. Everybody will benefit from such, and it will increase the IHR of the state. So I'm sure the people of Ife are even looking and said, you just want, let me tell you something funny. You're building a bridge. When you're constructing something, there's meant to be backlog. There's even no traffic even with the bridge they are constructing. Even with the bridge that is being constructed and they are diverting roads and they are doing all kind of things, there's even still no traffic. So tell me, what problem are you trying to solve?
Quickly let me butt in. Okay, away from the situation in Ile-Ife, there are many projects that have been flagged off by the current administration as well of Governor Adeleke. So how about that one in Ilesha, the one going on in Oshogbo, across the state as well? I'm talking about the 100 billion naira infrastructural plan, and we've spoken to handlers of the government. They have said there is no issue. Funding is not an issue. They are able and they have worked out their mappings to say this project will go ahead. It will not be abandoned. So many persons will now be saying, so what's with a Dr. Ademola Bayonle criticizing these when the government is not talking about funding as a problem?
The problem should not be funding. They dare not even come out and say funding is a problem.
So what's the problem?
I understand why the sentiment of the major opposition party, they are not talking about it, because their hand has been found in the cookie jar. They also built about a bridge of 3.3 billion during the administration of Governor Oyetola, former Governor Oyetola. So I've seen their workings and they're a little bit quiet about it, so that they do not come back and get a backlash of, you also build a bridge. If you can build one, we can build 5. And that is even what I've seen. Whenever you want to talk about some PDP administration, what they are doing, they will say, go and check APC. APC did it. Why is there nepotism in this administration? APC did it. Why are you using the lawyer as a commissioner of health? APC did it. Why are you building a bridge? APC did it. That it seems APC is their template for governance, which I hope they are bold enough to build or fashion their own or create their own path for good governance. But away from that, money is not a problem in this administration, and it should not be a problem. And they should never come out to say money is their problem. It's the use of that resources. And it is commonwealth as far as I'm concerned. And I can tell them, and people are saying it, I'm vocal about it. Maybe not a lot of people are speaking louder like you want to hear or like I am doing, but people are saying that we're coming from almost a recession type of governance. Look at the IGR of Osun in 2023. It will surprise you that the Q1, Q2 of Osun State was tanking real big time. And I can send those documents to you so that you'll see it. It was all-time low. What saved Osun State last year was subsidy removal. Immediately the subsidy was removed around May and June. What Osun State did was to quickly pass about 29 billion supplementary budget. Quickly, because there was no money. Which state passes supplementary budgets in August? August 14 to be precise. So the problem is not money, and they cannot come out, which they did not generate in the first place, but they cannot come out to say that they do not have money. The problem I'm saying is the correct use of the money, which is not anybody's money, by the way. It is all our money. I do not see anybody in the administration come out and say, oh, we are not spending money well. It's the administration, so they will always enjoy whatever they're doing. But I'm telling you firsthand from the community, people voted for this administration. That is the most painful part of it. I was out in the last election. I was hearing, oh, let's try PDP, and everything. You know, they cheated him in 2018. Maybe he's going to do something. Right now, people are disappointed. We have to plan for the future. All right. There's no plan for the future, in immediate future and the long-term future in the bridge. The employment, how many? Okay, think about it. How many companies, natural companies, has been started in the last 2 years of this administration? How many employments can we talk about in the youth sector? Yeah, we're talking about teachers' employment, but there's so many huge graduates graduating without jobs. All right. We're talking about agriculture. There's nothing in the agricultural sector. Do you understand? So there's so many immediate use. The cost of food is all-time high. So is it a bridge that is going to take us to heaven or take us to the promised land that we need to build? Is this another Ark of Noah? Is there a flood that is coming that we have to go climb on that bridge? What is the urgency in building a bridge? All right. Look at Lagos State, and I've used this as an example. Lagos State started with taxi drivers, taxis like usual. They moved to regular buses. After regular buses, they moved to BRT. After BRT, they moved to even creating BRT lanes. After creating BRT lanes, they moved to train. Because you have to work incrementally, especially when you are managing resources. It's not limitless. So you have to build incrementally, fix an issue, make sure that you can also calibrate and move ahead in the future on that issue. We have just one in the old state capital, one traffic light. And that is the one at the Ohiolei Bridge. Yeah. So how can we not build on traffic lights first if we're saying our problem that we want to solve is congestions? All right. Why do we have to invest 13 billion on bridge? For crying out loud. There are other things. I believe that Osun can be the hub of healthcare. Osun can be the hub of education. Osun can be the hub of tourism. Osun can be the hub of so many things that is going to come back and generate IGR for Osun. What they will claim in a few months' time is that they have increased IGR when all of us know that any IGR increase now is nothing. It's not because they are doing anything cerebral. It's because we're just pumping more water. It's like having more rain, and you are saying that you are collecting more water. That is all.
Doctor, I apologize for butting in. You're making it to sound like the infrastructural plan of the state is just about bridges and bridges. And
I'm not making it look like that. That is what it seems. They
have road projects going on as well. So it's not essentially about bridges. Many projects are going on as well. And just like I said, one would say we must just start somewhere, fixing existing ones, rehabilitating the ones that are dilapidated, and maybe creating new ones as well. So it's not just about the bridges when it comes to infrastructure.
These bridges are costing us a fortune. All right. And this is just one. I mean, we just talked about a 13 billion worth of bridge. Right. If that road, that money has been used to create access for farmers in the what's it called, and they have come out, the administration have said that this is actually going to help create access for people bringing on produce from our farmlands into our community to reduce cost of productive, increase cost of food, then that is a great plan.
Yes, sir.
If we're saying that we need to create more, widen the breadth, do you understand, of our road? Yes, we are dualizing or whatever we're doing to the road in front of the government office. Maybe not good. I mean, because there's really no traffic, but we can. It's about scale of preference. What can we do now? What can we plan for in the immediate future that people of Osun will benefit from? Do you understand? There are people who really need quality education right now. There are people who need to eat to make sure they wake up tomorrow morning. There are people who need to make sure that their health care is being, for somebody in the hospital, what is that bridge going to help him to do? He needs staffs in the hospital. He needs quality health care. There are life-changing events or life-determining events that need to happen now. The bridge is not any form of emergency that we need to go invest 13 billion or more than half of our. That is just one in Ife. We have one going on in Elisha. We have two going on in Osogbo. I think one is also coming very soon. And by the way, look at how shady these contracts looks like, because we have actually traced some of these contracts to the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly. He has come out to actually say that he has resigned from those offices, so it's not alleged again. You have a company created in your name. Your wife has another one created in her name, and you said you have resigned, and we have 10 billion going into that company. An institution that should be checkmating executive. What are you talking about?
All right.
So it seems that these contracts are there to pay the boys. And that is what I'm saying, that let us put Osun in our mind. Look at what Baba did when he was there.
That's a big allegation for you to say that those contracts are meant to pay the boss.
Well, if it's not meant to pay the boys, let them come out and actually tell us the contractors who got each contract, which account was the money paid into, because that's what it looks like. Right. And you cannot blame what I'm looking at. That is not an allegation. It's if you are standing there, if I say your tie, I think it's plain, it's not striped. That is what I'm seeing. It's for you to actually convince me that it is striped.
But he who alleges must prove, isn't it?
Well, I'm telling you what I'm seeing. You have to blame my eyes. So I'm telling you that if I'm seeing something, I say it looks like like this is what is happening.
Right.
So you're like, no, that is not what you're saying. Is not correct. Right. What you're saying is the stripe shirt.
All right, Doctor, we have to round off the conversation, very, very soon. But then you are also a politician, but would just like your take or your impression about what is going on in Rivers State at this time, the unending drama and saga, in Rivers State, especially that fight between the incumbent governor and his predecessor, who is now the Minister of the FCT, Wike, on who is who in the state, who has structure, who doesn't have structure. And we have seen that degenerate into a crisis even in the legislative arm. Right now, it is said that we have a three-man legislator in Rivers State. 27 members or 25 members are not known by the law. A lot is going on in that state. And if we actually look at it and put it side by side, it's like what we almost had in Osun State, where we had the incumbent governor at the time, in the person of Alhaji Oyetola, fall out with his predecessor, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola. But we thank God that didn't actually degenerate into a crisis in Osun State. But, with all that is happening in Rivers State, what is your impression about democracy in Nigeria, about governance, true governance in the different states?
Well, I think it reinforces or underscores why I'm in the political party I am. And I'm glad for now I am where I am. Because you see, you cannot rise to the power at the back of some people and suddenly say that those backs are not important again. He who pays the piper, they sticks the tune is an old adage that is still very potent today. And it's a lesson for upcoming politicians. If you're looking to ride on the back of a godfather to get into office, you cannot get into office and start saying you want to do what you like to do. That's not how it works. The structure that brings you into power If it was built with blood, it will demand blood. You must give sacrifice of blood to that back to that structure. You cannot get into the power and start saying you want to start giving it the structure of bread. They will not take it, and that is what is happening. It's very similar in Osun State between Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola and former Governor Oyetola. Very similar all around Edo State, Obaseki and Shayu. Very similar in River State right now. So I think that this is the best time for these political parties to start understanding the fibers that put these political parties together. A lot of them know internally that it is business for these politicians. So what they always shout as structure, 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 and they are reinforcing, you understand, is so that people can pay their pipers when they get into office. But when these people now get into office and see that this Goliath will not make me do anything or perform in any way or form, I cannot continue like this. You want to start, you want to take the next exit, and it's usually not possible. So I hope when the dead are burying their dead, we are learning from these corpses that we cannot continue doing politics of Godfather like this. Look at what happened in Lagos also. He almost escalated when Ambody was in office and he wanted to do second term, and the powers that be says it cannot happen. And of course, we know the antecedents of some of these things. They have made it so much of a money politics that a regular earner like you, I would be surprised if I see you one day picking funds from APC or PDP of 50 million or 100 million. I'm sure your chairman will be looking into his account and say, I hope this lady is not stealing some money from me or something, because they are playing at such a high level, unnecessary high level, that regular people cannot build, cannot just purchase funds, except some powers that be says that, oh, you have to do it. And maybe this is also the time we need to be looking at independent candidacy. Because you see, out of all these political problems, guess who is losing? The people of the state. And that is where my own heart is. That, okay, the House of Assembly is meeting in the governor's house. In that type of House of Assembly of 2 or 3 people, tell me what law are they making for the people of River State? What benefit is the House of Assembly checkmating the executive? We have so much, because of our political interest, turned the whole thing overhead. So maybe this generation will be bold enough to sidestep from those type of structures, from all these blood strengthening, money-making structure, to actually have the boldness to say, no, we want to create our own party. Let me give you the truth. People already come to me. They said, we are in these parties for the economic benefit of it. We are poor. We don't have money. It's difficult for us to leave, because if we leave, nobody is going to pay us, and we won't be getting some of the stipends we're getting again. If you can raise your own structure strong enough, we will come and join you, because we are also tired of this bad governance. Somebody is fighting somebody. Look at what is happening, and I blame Governor Oyetola for this. I was thinking, if your predecessor, Governor Aregbesola, was owing half salary, we were part of those cabinets, why will you just not pay the half salary if you had money? And evidentially, we can see that you actually moved money into you left money in account in the account of the state for Governor Adeleke. Why not just pay? Why fighting political war and using the people of Osun State as a proxy to that? That does not actually help. Everything he probably did well, but when politicians are fighting, you say the problem is that people lose, and that is what is happening in River State right now.
All right, quite a sad one there, especially the institutions of the state being maneuvered to, it appears that it's being maneuvered to suit personal interest, and this matter. That's why we had to take you up, as somebody who is interested in governance. But back to Osun State, 3 questions. We have 3 minutes to go from our end here. Many persons will say that Ademola Bayonle doesn't really understand what is going on here. He'd rather read from papers and, see to commentaries from social media. You live and work in the U.S. So some will say your opinion about the polity in Osun State do not count. What's your impression of those who think that?
Well, anybody can say anything. Like I have said, I can have an impression that your tie is plain, and you'll be the one to tell me that it is actually striped, not plain. People will want to say things for their political gain. That's fine. Those are jabs that are acceptable.
But isn't that true? Isn't that true that you don't live here?
I live here. This is my home. I think on my passport and all my documents, my hometown is still Osun State as far as I'm concerned. I'm still a Nigerian as far as I'm concerned. What they should also ask themselves is that when Governor Adeleke lost the last election, the 2018 election, was he in Nigeria? Didn't he go for education? Didn't go to study like he told us? Was he in Nigeria studying? Okay. So if you have to do stuff, I'm not feeding off government money. Do you understand? I have, yes, businesses in the state, but I have to take care of business too, so that I'm not a liability to the state. So, but even though I'm out of the country, in and out of the country, I was in your studios last week. I was in Modakeke last week. I was in Ilesha a couple of times. I come in, sneak in, go out. I don't make unnecessary noise when I'm around. I understand what is going on in the area today. I understand because we have members, even you're limited in what you know. This is a flat world already. You don't need to be jumping around the street before you understand what is going on. Right now, I'm in Ibadan. You are in Osun. We are having conversations as if we are side by side. This is 2024.
All right, quickly.
Anybody bringing those thinking, you should know they belong to 1967 thinkings. Don't worry.
All right, but these are the feelers from the street because, either it's political, either it's just sentiment or impression. People have a right to the opinion. For people that have come out to say, we want to govern you, like yourself in the past, you know that whatever you do counts, and people have an opinion of you as well. Lastly, we have taken a review of the administration, at least a part of the current administration. But how about people that will say talk is cheap? Many persons, before they get into power, they have opinions, they have ideas, lofty ideas. They speak truth, quote unquote truth to power, and then they get into the saddle, and then they realize maybe it's not always as green as they think. It has happened nationally before. It has happened subnationally before. And you now see some of those people giving excuses and coming out to say, okay, we have to balance things. Some dates, deadlines that have been given to achieve some things will be missed. And so for you have been striving to be governor. You are not yet one. Talk is cheap, isn't it? You are not yet in the saddle.
And that is why, you see, people need to read beyond the messengers. They need to understand, you see, especially when it comes to politics and administration, something that is important is, where are you at this point? What structure are you working with?
Right.
Who are the people that surround you? How did you get into power? You see, what conversation is it driving? And that is when you'll be able, okay, yes, with all these antecedents, with all these conversations, we can actually say there's a possibility that things are different. Let me give you an example.
Right.
The governor, the incumbent governor, a lot of people have different opinion about it and him. And I've been in meetings where I have asked people, why did you choose this governor as the candidate of People's PDP? And they said, apart from a low whole other things, it seems that he has the financial muscle to be able to combat the APC government. So I was like, wow, so it's really some of those things.
We must go.
Well,
let me just take the next 10 seconds as your parting shot. Yeah. Let me take your parting shot.
Say that again. Okay.
Let me take your parting shot. 10 seconds.
Okay, so the conversation is that the people, I hope and I pray this administration, you see, they recalibrate. You see, 2 years is not a joke.
Right.
2.5 years is not a joke. And politics and administration is about superiority of ideas. Because they are doing this, because they are fixing agriculture or they're fixing education, does not mean that the next administration will not improve on that.
All right.
So please, they should actually help the people of Osun State think about what they need today and what can be applicable, what can be sustainable for the next 5 years. And I actually sincerely pray for them.
All right. Evelyn, we must go.
All right, we'd like to thank you especially, Dr. Bayonle, for your time this morning. We appreciate you sincerely for your thoughts, for your submission, and for always saying yes to us whenever we call. Dr. Bayonle was the YPP Gubernatorial Candidate in the 2022 Osun governorship election. Thank you for your time once again.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Such an insightful conversation, a deep and profound conversation with Dr. Bayonle there. But we must go, Femi. We have to leave.
Right. Femi Ojo is my name. Thank you for being with us on the program today. We'll return for the midweek edition of Morning Spring. You can watch a recap of this program on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television, and also on Facebook, Instagram, and X as well, and also on channel 190 on Star Times DTT. God bless Nigeria.
And my name is Evelyn Ohiolei. Have for yourself a good and productive day.